Good day everyone. Today I'm going to discuss the PNP rank classifications and insignias. O yung tinatawag nating mga rangko ng ating mga kapulisan simula pinakamataas hanggang sa pinakamababa. So the PNP also has a significant feature in line of its rank classifications. It adopts a different structure for purposes of attaining a more efficient administration, supervision, and control as compared to the armed forces. So, in this part, we are going to compare the ranks of PNP and the ranks in AFP or the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So, here we go. So, in PNP ranks, here are the commissioned officers. Commissioned officers, ibig sabihin sila yung mga opisyal ng Philippine National Police. O sa madaling salita, ang police commissioned officers ay sila yung may mga matataas na rangko. So, unahin natin ang pinaka mataas, which is the Director General, and second is the Deputy Director General. Third is the Director. Fourth is the Chief Superintendent. Next is the Senior Superintendent. And next is Superintendent, Chief Inspector, Senior Inspector, and the Police Non-Commissioned Officers, the Senior Police Officer 4, Senior Police Officer 3, Senior Police Officer 2, Senior Police Officer 1, Police Officer 3, Police Officer 2, and Police Officer 1. So, this PNP ranks na sinabi ko dito ay ito yung old na rank classification ng PNP. So, meron na tayong bago ngayon. So, before we go to the new rank classification of PNP, let's go for let's proceed to AFP rank. So, here are the commissioned officers and the non-commissioned officers of AFP. So, first is the general, second is the lieutenant general, third is the major general, next is the brigadier general, the colonel, the lieutenant colonel, major, captain, first and second lieutenant. So, here are the non-commissioned officers, the master sergeant, the technical sergeant, the staff sergeant, sergeant, corporal, private first class, and private. So, ito na yung new rank classification ng PNP based on the new law, which is the RA 11-200. So, here are the commissioned officers of PNP, the Police General. Ito yung rank ng ang Police General ngayon ay ito yung rank ng Chief PNP natin ngayon or yung Director General in the old PNP rank. So, next is the Police Lieutenant General, the Police Major General, the Police Brigadier General, the Police Colonel, Police Lieutenant Colonel, Police Major, Police Captain, Police Lieutenant. So, here are also the non-commissioned officers or the new non-commissioned officers. The Police Executive Master Sergeant, Police Chief Master Sergeant, Police Senior Master Sergeant, Police Master Sergeant, Police Staff Sergeant, Police Corporal, and the Patrolman or the Patrol women. So, in the table, makikita natin yung comparison ng tatlong rank classification. Pero, etong dalawa na AFP ranks and the new rank classification from the RA 11200, merong comparison. Merong comparison which is most especially here in AFP and the new rank classification, and meron silang pagkakaiba and meron din silang pagkakatulad, most especially in the commissioned officer. Pag nakikita nyo yung AFP and the new rank classification doon sa commissioned officer nila, they are almost the same. Nadugtungan lang siya ng word na police para naman for the recognition of the PNP din. Alangan naman na sasabihin mo general doon sa kabila, general din sa kabila. Siyempre, hindi mo na ma-identify kung kaninong agency yung tinatawag mong general. So, naging specific ang PNP doon sa new rank classification nila. Pero doon naman sa old PNP ranks, halos nabago lahat and wala nang nasunod. Okay? Kung makikita ninyo, parang yung naging basis nila doon sa new rank classification are the rank of the AFP ranks. Okay? So, in this table, you can compare, you can differentiate, and para maintindihan nyo, and for you to be knowledgeable, and para madali lang ninyong ma-recognize when you will be having your board exam in the future. And kahit na pag nasa labas kayo, at para hindi kayo malito pag may nagtatanong sa inyo, syempre criminology student kayo, dapat aware kayo sa mga ganitong issues or matters. So here are the PNP rank insignia for the Police General or the Chief PNP. Meron siyang 4-star. And para naman sa Police Lieutenant General, meron siyang 3-star. And for the Police Major General, meron siyang 2-star. And for Police Brigadier General, meron siyang 1-star. So, doon naman sa Police Colonel, meron siyang 3 sampagita. And for Police Lieutenant Colonel, meron siyang 2 sampagita. And doon naman sa Police Major, meron siyang 1 sampagita. And for Police Captain, meron siyang 2 anahaw. And for Police Lieutenant, meron siyang 1 anahaw. So here in the Police Commissioned officers na merong rank insignia na ganito, yung mga insignia na binigay ko para dun sa mga commission officers ay ilalagay doon sa shoulder nila. Okay, kung napapansin nyo yung mga officers natin sa kapulisan, yung mga ranks nila, kung napapansin nyo dito sa mga police stations or even sa police provincial, yung mga or even those who are having their duty sa kalsada, pag may nakikita kayong mga insignia doon sa shoulder nila, ibig sabihin sila ay may mataas na rangko. So kapag nakikita nyo sila, galangin nyo sila, say hi, say good morning sir, and lalo na kayong mga criminology student, pwede kayong magpakilala sa inyo kasi alam nyo itong mga police officers na mga ito, lalo yung mga matataas ang rango, ang babait nila. When we were having our OJT, ang dami naming na-encounter na or nakasalamuha na mga matataas ang rango, and they treat us fairly, na parang hindi nila ginagamit yung mataas na rango nila to manipulate us. Ganon. So, doon naman tayo ngayon sa rank insignia ng non-commissioned officers. So, for Senior Police Officer 4 or the Police Executive Master Sergeant, or yung tinatawag natin dati na mga SPO4. So, meron siyang tatlong linya doon sa baba and tatlong linya doon sa taas, and meron siyang small star doon sa gitna ng lines. So, for Police Chief Master Sergeant, meron siyang 6 lines. 3 sa baba, 3 sa taas. And for Police Senior Master Sergeant, 3 line sa baba and 2 line doon sa taas. And for Police Master Sergeant, meron siyang 3 linya doon sa baba and 1 linya doon sa taas. So guys, pag napapansin niyo, kapag senior officer, pag senior officer siya, merong ang insignia nila, merong 3 linya doon sa baba and merong lines doon sa taas. Kahit isa lang yung line doon sa taas ng 3 lines, ibig sabihin he or she is a senior officer. So kapag naman isa yung line na nasa baba at wala sa taas, ibig sabihin siya ay isang patrolman or patrolwoman, or yung tinatawag natin na PO1 or Police Officer 1. So kapag naman dalawang line sa baba at walang line sa taas, ibig sabihin siya ay police corporal or yung tinatawag natin na police officer 2 or PO2. Pag naman 3 line sa baba at walang line sa taas, siya ay police staff sergeant or PO3. So, next is the PNP relationship with the AFP. So, the PNP and AFP complement each other on their pursuit to suppress insurgency and other serious threats to national security in times of national emergency prescribed pursuant to Section 12 of Republic Act 8551. So, again, what is RA 8551? So, RA 8551 is an act providing for the reform and reorganization of the Philippine National Police and for other purposes, amending certain provisions of Republic Act 6975. or an act establishing the Philippine National Police under a organized Department of the Interior and Local Government and for other purposes. So there are also governing relationship between them as follows. The PNP enforces laws and ordinances and performs statutory functions while the AFP exercise primary responsibility on matters involving suppression of insurgency and other serious threats to national security. So, the relationship between the two are, of course, they are enforcing the law. They are both enforcing the law, but primarily doon sa PNP, they are the one who enforce the law and ordinances and perform statutory functions while the PFP sila yung primary na responsible when it comes to serious threats to national security. For example, merong bomb threat or merong threat ng terorismo, merong threat ng mga NPA, yung mga lumalaban sa gobyerno. So, for sure, sila yung mga anti-government. So, kapag may naririnig kayo na merong putukan doon sa Municipality of Tagudin, between Municipality of Tagudin and Salcedo, no, mangmangegdegijay, iti adadijay nga maki sagsagupa wenno maki lablaban tapno i-secure da iti tattao most especially no addada iti na tao nga lugar wenno digiti adu ti balbalay na. So they need to secure the area or kailangan nilang tawagin or kailangan nilang makipag-usap sa kawani ng PNP para tulungan sila kapag alam nilang hindi nila kaya yung hinaharap nila na laban. Okay? So, ang PNP at AFP laging magkadamay yan kapag hindi kaya ng isa, humihingi ng tulong doon sa kabila. So, kapag kayo ay naging pulis, wag na wag nyong iisipin or wag na wag nyong sasabihin sa iba na yung mga AFP na yan ay kakompetensya ninyo kasi maraming pulis ang nagsasabi na wala daw silbi ang mga sundalo minsan, hindi daw sila nakapag-aral, ganito, ganyan. So, please do not degrade the image of AFP kasi sila yung primary na nakikipagsagupa para lang sa security nating mga tao. So, next is the PNP provides assistance to the AFP in insurgency-affected areas while the AFP is also responsible for the integrated territorial defense system. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na nagbibigay sila ng assistance doon sa AFP, most especially doon sa mga affected na areas. Diba, sinabi ko kanina kapag merong sagupaan doon sa area na merong mga may matataong lugar. Okay, for example, dito sa area ng Tagudin and again, area ng Salcedo. So, they always provide assistance to AFP Kasi hindi lang peace and order ang ginagawa ng PNP. Nagmo-multitask sila, hindi lang yung trabaho nila na binigay ng PNP ang ginagawa nila. Kapag may kailangan na tulong yung ibang agency, they are always there no matter what, kahit hindi nila trabaho. Pero syempre, they are isa silang kawani. Sila ay kawani ng gobyerno at sila ay handang maglingkod sa bayan anumang oras. So, kapag napapansin ninyo ngayon, most especially nung nagsimula ang lockdown dito sa buong Pilipinas, sino yung nandun sa mga kalsada? Mga pulis, mga BFP, mga AFP, lahat-lahat ng klase ng mga law enforcement agencies, kahit mapa-private man, mapa-public, ay mapa-government agencies man yan, they are there until now. So we must be thankful to our frontliners na nagse-secure ng ating area to minimize the spread of the virus. So next is the PNP assists the AFP to this positive action on arrested, captured, and surrendered insurgent within the prescribed reglementary period. So ang PNP, ina-assist nila yung AFP kapag merong nahuli ang mga AFP na lumalabag sa batas. So the AFP can surrender those criminals or the arrested person or people to PNP. The PNP provides assistance to the AFP in the arrest of suspected insurgents with standing warrants of arrest, and the PNP and AFP maintain close intelligence coordination and exchanges and share each other's accomplishments of their respective mission and functions. So, itong dalawa, AFP and PNP, lagi silang merong communication or they have communication to each other na they are sharing each other's accomplishments doon sa mga missions and functions nila. Baka in case si PNP pwede niyang i-advise kay AFP na or meron siyang pwedeng idagdag para ma-improve nila yung task nila or doon sa kung ano man yung mission nila for them to have a recognition or for them to get recognition from the government. Syempre kapag maganda yung ginawa ni AFP or maganda yung ginawa ni PNP, syempre ire-recognize sila ng ating gobyerno, most especially na sa ating Pangulo. Lalo na ngayong si President Duterte ang nakaupo bilang presidente natin dito sa Pilipinas, lagi niyang nire-recognize yung mga kawani ng gobyerno, lalo na sa PNP and AFP na maraming accomplishment. So, with regards to the relationship of PNP and AFP, they are very close. They are very close and they maintain their closeness or they maintain their relationship para hindi sila magkasiraan. And also to maintain the image of their perspective agency. Next is the PNP recruitment management. Under the Civil Service Commission, each department and agency shall evolve its own screening process which may include tests or fitness in accordance with standards and guidelines set in order to ensure the quality of personnel entering the police service and strengthen the foundation of the police professionalization, a standard procedure for recruitment and selection of PNP uniform personnel is hereby established. So here are the general qualification for appointment in PNP. So no person shall be appointed as non-officer of the PNP unless he or she possesses the following minimum qualification. So first, a citizen of the Philippines. So kailangan isa kang citizen dito sa Pilipinas. Next is a person of good moral conduct. So, dapat meron kang magandang pag-uugali kasi kapag wala kang magandang pag-uugali, lalo na pag nalaman nila na magnanakaw ka, lagi kang nakikipag-away, marami kang bad records noong college ka kasi alam nyo, nalalaman nila na, meron kang good moral or bad moral kasi nagba-background check sila sa'yo. Yung mga nilalagay nyo na reference doon sa application ninyo when you will be entering the PNP, sila yung ikukontak ng PNP para malaman nila yung background mo. Pumupunta din sila mismo doon sa barangay ninyo. Kunwari, magtanong-tanong tungkol sa'yo kung kilala ka. Lalo na kapag yung tao na lagi mong inaaway, yung taong may galit sa'yo ang pinagtanungin nila, bahala na lang si Lord kung makakapasa ka pa dito sa qualification ng PNP. So, kapag gusto nyo talagang makuha ng PNP, ngayon pa lang, iwas-iwasan nyo nang makipag-away, iwas-iwasan nyo nang magkaroon ng bad record dyan sa barangay ninyo, and also doon sa, dito sa school ninyo. Next is, he must have passed the psychiatric or psychological, physical, medical, dental, and drug test to be administered by the PNP Health Service and Crime Laboratory Group or by any NAPOLCOM accredited by government hospital for the purpose of determining physical and mental health. So, kailangan mong ipasa yung psychiatric or psychological test. Itong psychiatric or psychological test, ito yung itetest nila yung mentality mo, kung gaano ka kagaling mag-isip. Kung may common sense ka ba? Kung normal lang ba yung pag-iisip mo? O kung nasa tamang pag-iisip ka ba? Wala ka bang sakit na, or do you have mental disorder? Do you have personality disorder? Ganon. So, dapat kapag nag-exam kayo ng psychiatric or psychological test, dapat siguraduhin yung talagang kaya nyo kasi maraming bumabagsak dito, at siguraduhin ninyong wala kayong sakit sa pag-iisip. Huwag na kayong mag-apply kung alam mong yung pag-iisip mo ay hindi nasa tama. You're just wasting your time, you're just wasting your effort, and most especially, you are just wasting the money of your parent. Huwag mong pilitin kung hindi naman kaya. Okay? So, also, you must have to pass the physical test. So dito sa physical test, dapat maipasa mo yung agility test. Agility test kasi ang tawag nila dito sa physical test, yung tatakbo ka ng ilang segundo, o orasan ka nila, at kapag hindi mo ito nakaya, still inonot nila yon, magpo-push up ka, And sa push-up, military count ito. So, kapag before kayo mag-apply, dapat i-condition mo nyo muna yung mga katawan ninyo, pag-iisip ninyo, para, again, hindi masayang yung effort ninyo. So, dapat you must be mentally, physically healthy. So, meron pa dito yung medical test. Te-test nila kung meron kang almoranas, kung meron bang bukol dyan sa suso mo, kung meron ka bang sakit, kung high blood ka ba, meron ka bang sakit sa puso, sa baga. So, kapag isa lang dito ang, kapag isa lang dito ay nag-fail ka, hindi ka makukuha unless kapag meron kang backer. Backer kasi yung tawag nila dito kapag may kapit ka doon sa loob. And also dito sa medical, isa ang kinakandak nila dito ay yung Ishihara test or the eye test. So, just like me, I am not qualified to enter the PNP. It's because mahina ang mata ko. Mahina ang mata ko, that's why hindi ko na tinuloy. It's because I know that hindi ko to maipapasa and I don't want to waste effort. I don't want to waste time and I don't want to waste my money. Okay? And dito sa medical, isa ito sa pinaka-importante na bagay para pumasa kayo sa PNP recruit. Bakit? Kasi kapag pineke mo yung medical mo at namatay ka doon sa training center during your training, sinong may kasalanan? Yung PNP or dinapulkom. Okay? So, wag na wag nyong gagamitin yung mga backer ninyo when it comes to medical examination. Pwede nyo namang gamitin yung mga backer ninyo kapag hindi kayo pumasa sa agility test or maybe hindi kayo pumasa doon sa dental test. Wag lang sa medical examination. Kasi hindi lang kayo ang madadali dito, pero pati na rin yung agency. So also, you must pass the dental and drug test to be administered by the PNP Health Service and Crime Laboratory. So, dito sa dental and drug test, dapat yung ngipin ninyo hindi denture. Denture, ibig sabihin, hindi siya postiso. Pwede ka naman magpapostiso, pero wag naman yung buong ngipin mo kasi titignan kasi nila ito kapag yung ngipin mo ay totoo or fake. Pwede mo namang gamitan ng denture or postiso kapag dalawa or isa lang ang kailangang takpan ng denture. Pero pag 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, I don't think so na makukuha ka pa. Unless, again, when you have backer. Ganun lang. Palakasan lang daw. Pero I don't believe in palakasan sometimes. Kasi kapag deserve mo naman, bakit naman hindi ka nila kukunin, 'di ba? So next is the drug test. Dapat hindi ka nagdodroga before ka mag-apply ng PNP. Baka feeling mo hindi porket meron kang backer ang lakas na ng loob mong mag-apply. No. Hindi lang ikaw yung pwedeng magpulis. Tatandaan mo 'yan ha. Kapag magpupulis ka, isa sa kailangan mong iwasan ang paggagamit ng droga. Okay? And please never ever use illegal drugs. It will ruin your life. Pwede naman kayong mag-drugs pero yung drugs na nakakagamot ng sakit. Yung mga paracetamol, mga pain reliever dyan, and those are legal drugs because they can treat illness. So, next, must possess a formal baccalaureate degree from a recognized institution of learning. So, dapat meron kang natapos na baccalaureate degree or 4-year degree course. Yang kurso ninyo na BS Criminology, that is a baccalaureate degree. So, ito ang tatandaan ninyo, not because you are a graduate of BS Criminology, hindi ibig sabihin na kayo lang yung pwedeng makuha na maging police. Okay? Walang sinabi dito na must possess baccalaureate degree of criminology. Wala namang sinabi dito. Ang sinabi lang niya dito, must possess a formal baccalaureate degree. So, any 4-year course any 4-year course basta meron kang eligibility. Okay, so wag na wag kayong magpapakampante na kayo lang na registered criminologist or kayo lang na napulcom passer na BS Criminology graduate ang makukuha dito. Wala silang prina-prioritize na mga courses. Okay? So, number 5, ito na yung sinasabi ko kanina na he must be eligible in accordance with the standards set by NAPOLCOM. So, dito sa eligibility na kailangan ng PNP para makuha ka, you must be a passer of board exam in criminology. So tayo lang yung pwedeng gumamit ng board exam result natin to enter the PNP. Maliban lang doon sa mga magla-lateral entry na mga dentist, mga doctor. So, iba yon, iba dun sa kanila. Dito sa general qualification naman for appointment, ito yung for the non-commission officer or for PO1 lang yung sinasabi ko dito na tayo lang yung pwedeng gumamit ng eligibility natin sa board exam kahit wala tayong NAPOLCOM, kahit wala tayong civil service, basta board passer ka, you can use it alone. Okay, pero kapag NAPOLCOM passer ka, tapos board exam passer ka pa, tapos cum laude ka pa, tatlo na yung eligibility mo. So, malakas na yon na gagamitin mo para makuha ka or para maging qualified ka doon sa for appointment. Okay? So, hindi porket naman eligible ka ng NAPOLCOM, ng board exam, ng civil service, makukuha ka na. Syempre, isa lang naman yun. Paano pag hindi ka pumasa ng physical exam mo? Paano pag hindi ka pumasa ng medical? So, wala din yun. Hindi mo din magagamit. Hindi mo din magagamit yung tatlong eligibility mo doon sa application na yon. Okay, so, para makuha ko ulit, apply ka na lang next time. Okay, kasi hindi lang naman once ang pwedeng mag-apply You can apply hanggang kaya mo. Basta hindi lalagpas yung age mo kasi syempre meron silang age limit. So, here are the eligibility requirements. Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, na NAPOLCOM PNP Entram Examination, then Civil Service Professional, and ito yung tinatawag nila na second level eligibility. And the 6506, ito yung law ng or this is an creating the board of examiners for criminologists in the Philippines. So, ito na yung sinasabi ko kanina na pwede nating gamitin na mag-isa. Ito yung result ng board exam natin. So, if you are a criminologist alone, you can use it alone when you are applying PNP. Okay? So, hindi porket cum laude ka, baka maliitin mo yung classmate mo na isa lang yung eligibility nila. Tapos, siya pala yung nakuha. Kaya, don't you ever belittle your classmates or other applicants, not because they only have one eligibility. Kasi alam nyo doon sa batch namin, ang daming, most especially doon sa section namin, halos 3/4 na. 3/4 na yung nakuha sa section namin na nag-PNP. So, most of them hindi naman sila cum laude. Most of them hindi naman sila na prom passer. But, most of them are board passers. So, next is the RA 1080, the Bar and Board Examination Law. So, kapag abogado ka, you can use RA 1080. You can use the 1080. Pero pag yung mga courses na, like for example, mga teachers, mga licensed professional teachers, they can still use their eligibility na bilang isang LPT or licensed professional teacher, pero still they need to take the NAPOLCOM PNP entrance examination. Hindi nila pwedeng gamitin mag-isa yung board exam result nila compare sa ating mga criminologists na pwede nating gamitin na mag-isa. So, that's the advantage of being criminologist, pero wag naman tayong maging mayabang. Okay? So, next is the PD number 907, the college graduate with honors. So, kapag college graduate with honors ka, cum laude, magna cum laude, summa cum laude, automatic na magagrantan ka ng second level eligibility ng civil service. So you don't need to take civil service exam just to have the second level eligibility kapag graduate ka na with honors. So that's the advantage of being an honor student. So, next, he must not have been dishonorably discharged from military employment or annul or drop form rules from PNP service or dismiss for cause from any civilian position in the government. So, dapat hindi siya na-dismiss from military employment or baka nag-awol siya nung nasa AFP pa siya. Awol ibig sabihin absent without official leave. Or baka nag-drop siya doon sa AFP. So hindi ka dapat discharge or dismiss, or even dapat hindi ka din dismiss sa kahit anong government agencies or offices. For example, isa akong teacher sa UNP. I am a regular teacher, so I am considered government employee. So, na-dismiss ako sa UNP bilang isang teacher is because meron akong administrative case doon. So, nang dahil sa administrative na case na yan, I was found guilty or the board decided to dismiss me from the university. So, kapag na-dismiss na ako at wala na akong pwedeng pagtrabahuan na iba, and then pumunta ako na nag-apply sa PNP. So, kapag nalaman nila that I was dismissed from the service, automatically, hindi ako pwedeng makuha. Or, for short, automatically disqualified na ako doon sa recruitment, okay? Or sa application. Next is he must not have convicted by final judgment of an offense or crime involving moral turpitude. So, dapat hindi ka nakulong or hindi ka nasentensyahan ng final judgment. For example, nakulong ka ng dahil sa panggagahasa. Ginahasa mo yung teacher mo. And you were found guilty and then you were imprisoned for 12 years. So, imagine nang rape ka ng teacher mo and then may gana ka pang mag-apply ng PNP. Pero alam mo, before ka mag-apply ng PNP, when you are already released sa prison or sa jail, kwentahin mo naman yung age mo. Di ba kat sinabi kong 12 years, syempre mapapaisip kayo. Bakit kaya sinabi ni ma'am na 12 years? Syempre para mag-isip kayo, ilang taon na ako. Baka ko nayukot ko nakarwarak dito pagbaludan an mapanakagaplay nga pulis or ka board passer nak. So manong tongor di tao mo no manong tongor di tao mo no agaplay ka ti polisen. Syempre overage kan Syempre, graduate ti college, mostly ket kwa, 21, 22, 23, syempre, tapos kontarang pa iti 12 years, overage kan. So, hang ka talaga nga mapanon kasi may babain ka lang. Ex-convict ka lang garudan, overage kan to pa lang. Oh my God. Double kill day jayan nga pa kay babae nam jay. Napol komen. Next, it must be at least 1 meter and 62 centimeters or 1.62 meter in height for male and 1.57 meter for female. Or in 1.62 meter for male, dapat meron siyang 5.3 or meron siyang 5.3 na height. Kapag sa babae naman, dapat meron siyang 5'1". Okay? So, kapag wala kayong sapat na height, pwede naman kayong mag-avail ng waiver ninyo. Kapag kayo ay member ng IP or the indigenous people, kapag kayo ay IP, no itnag kayo, no kankan na kayo, or no naman ti tribo yo, mabalin nyo nga i-waive di jay, height yo, tapno, mag-agbalin kayo nga qualified di jay, at ENT, recruitment. Next is, must weigh not more or less than 5 kilograms from the standard weight corresponding to his or her height, age, and sex. So, dapat, before kayo na mag-apply, you need to test your body mass index or yung sinasabi natin na BMI. So, meron tayong tracker ngayon na pwedeng i-install sa cellphone. You can download in the Google store. Just download BMI calculator or BMI tracker, and doon makukwenta mo yung BMI mo kapag pasado ka na. Okay, kung pwede ka nang mag-apply ng PNP. And that application, pwedeng ilagay mo doon yung age mo, ilagay mo yung height, yung sex, and then yung current weight mo. So, magpapakita doon kung obese ka, kung normal ka, kung underweight ka, kung ilang kilograms pa yung pwede mong yung ang kailangan mong i-gain para maging normal ka, kung ilang kilograms pa ang kailangan mong i-less para maging normal ka. Okay? So, next, for a new applicant, must not be less than 21 nor more than 30 years of age, except for the last qualification. The above enumerated qualifications shall be continuing in character, and an absence of any one of them at any given time shall be a ground for separation or retirement from the service, provided that PNP members who are already in the service upon the effectivity of RA 8551 shall be given at least 2 years to obtain the minimum educational qualification and 1 year to satisfy the weight requirements. So, for this, dapat hindi ka 20 years old or 31 years old na mag-apply. So, meron akong encounter na ganito, meron akong classmate when noong kakapasa pa lang namin ng board exam, tapos agad-agad pumunta siya nag-apply ng PNP. Napahiya lang siya doon sa Napolcom office or doon sa region. Doon kasi sila nag-apply. Napahiya lang siya. And then, ewan ko kung umiyak ba siya or what. Napahiya lang siya. Nung tinanong nila kung ilang taon na siya, sabi niya 20. So, tinanong sa kanila, hindi ba nila ini-lecture noon sa school ninyo na dapat 21 to 30 lang ang pwedeng mag-apply? Ang akala daw niya pwede niyang i-waive yung age niya. So, para sa para lang naman siguro makasabay siya doon sa mga batch namin or mga tropa niya, trinay niya, pero unluckily, napahiya lang siya. In the first place, alam naman kasi niya na dapat 21 siya na mag-apply. And now, he is now having his training. It's because okay na yung age niya. Kaya kayo, before kayo mag-apply, you must have at least 21 years old. Okay? And, para naman sa mga members ng PNP na wala pa noong hindi pa na-encounter noon ang RA 8551 or hindi pa effective yung 8551 noong nasa serbisyo na sila, they were given 2 years to complete or to comply the educational qualification. So, kapag naaalala ninyo, maraming mga PNP members ang natanggal na nag-optional retirement rather. Nag-optional retirement sila, it's because hindi nila natapos or hindi nila nakaya yung 2 years na binigay ng PNP para mag-comply sila doon sa educational qualification para ma-retain sila sa serbisyo. So, if you can remember, maraming natanggal or maraming nag-retire na maaga, it's because they were only a graduate of 2 years or vocation course. So, most of them naman kasi is matatanda na. So, siguro marami na silang ipon, marami na silang napundar. So, bakit pa sila um, bakit pa sila aaral, 'di ba? Bakit pa sila mag-aaral kung meron na silang ipon? Pero, ang bad side naman dito or negative impact naman ito sa kanila kapag hindi nila tinuloy hindi nila tinapos um, yung educational qualification para ma-retain sila. Kahit mag-retire man sila, mag-early retirement man sila, in the future, wala silang matatanggap na benefit. So, kawawa sila. Pero, as I can see naman yung mga natanggal doon sa amin na mga PNP members na hindi nakapag-qualify, they are now in abroad, in Canada, in US, just because meron na silang mga anak na nakapagtapos, meron mga professionals, may mga apo na din sila. So, okay na din siguro yun para sa kanila for them to be with their family. So, discretion nila yon or decision nila yon kung itutuloy ba nila or hindi. Kapag hindi mo tuloy, syempre, out ka na, dismiss ka na, or kailangan ka nilang tanggalin para ibibigay nila na lang nila yung pwesto mo doon sa ibang qualified na police officers or mga applicants. So, also, they are given 1 year to satisfy the weight requirements. So, example, yung police, obese siya and binigyan nila siya ng 1 year para magpapayat pero talagang hindi niya kaya. Pero dito sa 1 year to satisfy the weight requirement, hindi naman ito yung stricto kasi siguro with regards to their health or maybe they have medical conditions kaya hindi sila pwedeng magpapayat ng masyado, hindi nila kayang biglain yung katawan nila. It's because baka mag-breakdown lang sila or baka ito yung magiging cause ng death nila. So, pwede nilang i-extend yung 1 year to satisfy the weight requirement as long na magpa-promise or as long na sasabihin niya na kaya niya or hihingi siya ng palugit to attain the weight requirement. So, kapag again, for the next year na hindi na naman niya nakuha yung weight requirement, ewan ko na lang. Pero, sa mga namang nangyayari naman ngayon, ang dami naman matataba, hindi naman sila natatanggal. So, I think, it's on the decision of the board naman siguro. Kasi syempre, we have individual differences. Baka talaga merong sakit yung tao na kaya hindi siya pwede masyadong magpapayat. So, kapag kayo ay nasa serbisyo niya, iwasan nyo yung pagtaba ng sobra. Kasi, kapag tataba kayo ng sobra, baka ikakatanggal nyo pa yun sa trabaho ninyo. So, you must maintain your BMI. You must maintain your physical fitness. Next, the documentary requirements. So, city or mayor, municipal peace and order council clearance, city or MOPC resolution and endorsement. So, kukuha ka ng endorsement from the municipal peace and order council kung meron doon sa inyo. Next is the personal data sheet or the PDS. You can download it in the Google. Next, the birth certificate and marriage contract for married person. And it must be authenticated by the NSO pero PSA na ngayon. Or the Philippine Statistics Authority. Pero wag kayong kukuha ng marriage contract ninyo, baka kukuha kayo ng marriage contract ninyo, hindi naman kayo kasal. Okay, kahit meron kayong live-in partner, kahit meron ka ng anak, wag kang mag-aabil ng marriage contract kasi wala ka nun kung hindi kayo kinasal ng partner mo. And also sa birth certificate, before ka magpasa ng birth certificate mo, baka tignan mo kung merong errors doon sa birth certificate mo para mapakorek mo sa lalong madaling panahon. Next is the college diploma and transcript records or the TOR for employment. So the college diploma, it must be dapat yung college diploma mo naman yung talagang natapos mo. Kasi merong mga applicants na gumagamit ng diploma ng iba na nilalagay lang nila yung pangalan nila. Merong ganito doon sa Recto. I know that you are aware of the place Recto. Sila yung mga nagpepeke ng mga diploma, lahat mga transcript of record, etc. Kaya maraming nakakapasok na sa mga mga tao sa mga iba't ibang klase ng trabaho doon sa NCR. And also the transcript of records or the TOR. Kapag magki-claim kayo ng TOR ninyo doon sa registrar ng school ninyo, dapat ang ilagay nyong purpose is for employment kasi ang TOR pwede itong lagyan ng for the purpose of board examination, ganun, for employment. So, kapag kayo ay mag-a-apply na ng PNP, dapat palagyan mo ng for the purpose of employment kasi maraming gumamit ng for the purpose of board examination kaya hindi natanggap yung application nila doon sa region. Not because TOR. Okay, not because TOR, pero tignan mo naman yung purpose. Baka mali yung purpose na nakalagay doon before ka magpasa. Next is the general weighted average or the GWA of the TOR. Ang general weighted average or GWA of TOR, hindi naman ito nilalagay na. Wala akong nakita. Sa TOR ko, sa college, wala akong nakita na general weighted average. Okay? Wala akong nakita dun. Kung walang nakalagay doon na general weighted average, let it be kasi meron ka namang ibang supporting documents as long as yung TOR mo is legit or original or galing talaga ito sa school ninyo kasi they can verify naman. Okay? Pero doon sa mga batchmates ko na nag-apply ng PNP, hindi naman daw question yun kasi meron silang supporting documents. Okay? Ipasa nyo na lang yung TOR ninyo kung walang GWA, it's okay. Kasi talaga naman kasing hindi sila naglalagay ng GWA dito sa UNP. And next is the good moral character from school. Good moral character from school, ito yung i-release ng Office of the Student Affairs. Dito sa UNP, sa Office of the Student Affairs ka kukuha, hindi doon sa Dean, okay? So, para alam nyo na kung saan kayo kukuha doon sa Office of the Student Affairs doon sa UNP. If ever man na in the long run, kailangan ninyo, kahit hindi man sa PNP kayo mag-apply, baka hanapin talaga ito. And also, good moral character, I guess, kailangan din namin ito noong nag-board kami, so we need to claim. We need to claim good moral character from UNP. Next is the eligibility. Again, eligibility, the NAPOLCOM or CSC or the PRC or the report of writing. Dito sa NAPOLCOM, ito yung i-release ng NAPOLCOM na result ng exam mo. And you need to print it out or kailangan mo tong i-print or ipasa doon sa or ilagay doon sa folder mo, isama mo ito kahit even meron kang PRC, ilagay mo lahat doon. Dapat lahat yon ay authenticated or validated by the PRC. Even sa CSC, you need to get your CSC eligibility sa doon sa nearest Civil Service Commission Office. Next is the local clearances. Ito yung mga clearances na kailangan mo ay yung barangay clearance, the police clearance, the mayor clearance, the prosecutor or fiscal clearance, NBI, MTC or RTC. So, kailangan mo itong kunin doon mismo sa inyo. Okay? Hindi porket nag-aral ka dito sa UNP, dito ka na sa UNP, magkiklaim kung hindi ka naman taga-vegan. So, hindi yun pwede. Kailangan kang pumunta or kailangan mong umuwi doon sa inyo kung saan ka man galing. At doon ka mag-claim. And next is the whole body picture and the 2x2 with name tag in formal attire. And next is the valid ID and the Xerox copy. So, next is the screening committee. The chief of the PNP shall establish a screening committee in each provincial, district, and regional office that shall be responsible for the widest dissemination of vacancies in the area and determination of the fitness of police applicants. The screening committee shall be composed as follows. First is the Provincial Screening Committee. The Chief Assistant Provincial Director for Administration or any PNP senior officer in the province designated by the Provincial Director. In the case of Metro Manila, NCRPO Director designates the senior PNP officer or the chairman. So, here are the members. The members are the NAPOLCOM official to be designated by the NAPOLCOM Regional Director, the private citizen of non-probity and integrity in the province to be designated by the provincial governor, the pleb chairman in the locality where the selection will be undertaken, and the PPOC representative to be designated by the PPOC chairman. So, next is the Regional Screening Committee. PNP Deputy Director for Administration or any PNP Senior Officer in the Regional Command designated by the PNP Regional Director Chairman. And the members are the NAPOLCOM Senior Official in the Regional Office to be designated by the Regional Director. The private citizen of non-probity and integrity in the region to be designated by the Provincial Governor of the province where the Regional Command Headquarters is situated. Pleb Chairman in the locality where the selection will be undertaken, and the RPOC representative to be designated by the RPOC chairman. So, next is the National Screening Committee. Director of the NHCO or the National Headquarters of the PNP Directorate for Personnel and Records Management or any PNP senior officer designated by the PNP or by the Chief PNP is the chairman. So, the members are the NAPOLCOM officials to be designated by the Vice Chairman, the private citizen of non-probity and integrity to be designated by the NAPOLCOM, and the regional NAPOLCOM, the regional director, the plebe chairman in the locality where the selection will be undertaken, and the NPOC representative to be designated by the NPOC chairman. PPOC ibig sabihin is Provincial Peace and Order Council. O ang RPOC naman is Regional Peace and Order Council. And for NPOC is the National Peace and Order Council. So, additional screening and recruitment committees, however, may be constituted by the PNP General Headquarters to facilitate expenditures, and efficient processing of applicants, provided the herein required membership shall be followed. The next is the screening procedure, the preliminary interview. The applicant shall be interviewed personally by the screening committee. If the applicant qualifies, he or she shall be required to represent or accomplish the following. First is the personal history statement, birth certificate or affidavit of 2 witnesses, 2 copies passport size picture, transcript of scholastic records and or diploma, the fingerprint card properly accomplished, and clearance papers from hometown police station, PNP provincial command, provincial fiscal, and others that may be required. So, next is the physical agility test. The screening committee shall require the applicant to undergo a physical agility test designed to determine whether or not he possesses the required coordination, strength, and speed of movement necessary for service as follows. So, here are the maximum total and passing for men and women. The passing score for men is 70 points and for women is 50 points. So, here are the physical here are the scope or the kinds of physical tests to be undertaken during the agility test. First is the 7 pull-ups, 3 points each, 25 push-ups, 1 points each, 36 sit-ups, 1/2 points each, and 100-meter run. And pick up and carry on shoulder, 45 kilo weight for men, 20 kilo weight for women, and walking 25 meters up and down and not dropping, which is the so these are the scope of the physical agility test. So next is the psychological or neuropsychiatric test. Again, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, to exclude applicants who may be suffering from mental disorder, the applicant shall take a psychological or neurophysical test to be administered by the PNP, NBI, or any duly recognized institution and meet all the requirements in paragraph A above. So, sinabi ko kanina, para malaman nila na nasa tamang pag-iisip ka, kailangan mo mag-undergo ng physical or neuropsychiatric test. Kapag nalaman nila na meron kang mental disorder, they need to disqualify you from the application. Okay? You are automatically disqualified. Pero kailangan, pero it doesn't mean naman na talaga na meron kang mental disorder kapag hindi ka pumasa. Kailangan lang kasi i-reach mo yung minimum standard ng or minimum passing ng neuropsychiatric test. Pero kapag hindi mo ito na-meet, um, it will result to fail failed examination. Pero that doesn't mean naman meron kang mental disorder. Meron lang kasi yung mga hindi naman kasi karamihan na bumabagsak ng neuro exam is baliw. Meron lang kasi yung ilan na talagang meron silang mental illness. So after a few months, pwede ka na ulit mag-apply and pwede ka na ulit mag-exam ng neuropsychiatric test. So you need to prepare yourself first before you apply again para minsan na lang yung hirap mo na mag-apply. Next is the character and background investigation. Ito yung sinasabi nila na BI or the CI. Yung pupunta sila doon sa barangay nyo, magtanong-tanong kung meron ka bang ginawa na hindi maganda noon, meron ka bang mga criminal na activities, are you a member of NPA, and other unlawful behaviors. Next is the physical and mental examination in order to determine whether or not the applicant is in good health, free from contagious diseases. A physical and medical examination must be conducted by the city or municipal health officer of the PNP or PNP medical officer after he or she qualified for preliminary interview. So again, dapat mag-undergo ka muna ng mental and physical examination para masigurado nila that you are in good health. Na wala kang sakit, na wala kang nakakahawang sakit. Just like what happened ngayon, alam natin na maraming nai-infect ngayon ng COVID-19. So, I have batches in college na nag-apply. I also have classmates na nag-positive during their application in PNP. Pero, luckily naman, hindi naman sila natanggal. They just need to be quarantined. Okay, they just need to be quarantined, and after the quarantine na mag-result na sila ng negative, then they can now continue their training. And yung iba kasi naging excess na lang sila. Excess kasi yung tawag nila sa yung kapag kulang yung aplikante, tatawagan ka nila. At ikaw yung ilalagay nila doon para makompleto na nila yung quota. Ganon. Sumapantayo mo tatta iti final interview. The screening committee shall interview the qualified applicant for suitability for police work. The interview shall aid in determining likableness, affability, attitude towards work, outside interest, forcefulness, conversational ability, disagreeable, mannerism, and etc. So if you are going to have the final interview, ito na yun. Ito na yung pagkakataon nyo para makapasok kayo sa PNP. Kaya dapat galingan nyo, iwasan nyo yung mga mannerisms niyo, mga galaw-galaw ng mga kamay, kahit any movement ng mga mata, mga bibig, kung ano man yung mga mannerism nyo dyan sa katawan ninyo, dapat iwasan nyo yun. Kasi kapag nakita nila na mayroong mga naggalaw ng galaw yung kamay mo, galaw na galaw yung mata mo, sa kabila, sa kanan, sa kaliwa, ganun, na hindi ka mapakali, na parang nanginginig ka. So that means that you are not ready, or maybe you are under pressure, yung ninenervyos ka, na parang natatakot ka na magsalita. So and there will be a problem on the conversation between you and the interviewer na hindi ka makakasagot ng tama. And yung tingin nila sa'yo, meron kang attitude problem. So, if you are going to enter in the police work, you have to control yourself, you have to be calm, okay? You have to put in mind that you are there because you want to become a police officer. So, ano ang dapat mong gawin para makuha ka? So, sinabi ko kanina, dapat ipakita mo yung attitude mo. Yung attitude towards the work of a police officer. So, alam nyo na yung mga attitude ng isang professional na tao, mapa-police man yan, mapa-abogado, mapa-teacher. You must act professionally and ipakita mo na may willingness ka na magtrabaho. Okay? Next is the police appointment and termination of service. Any appointment who meets the general qualification for appointment to police service and who passes the test required in the screening procedure shall be recommended for initial appointment. However, termination of appointments will be imposed for those appointees whose performance are unsatisfactory. So, kapag na-meet mo yung general qualification ng isang police, then they will recommend you for initial appointment. So, kapag napasa mo yung final interview, syempre, bakit hindi ka nila i-recommend for the initial appointment, di ba? So, kapag yung mga nakikita nyo dyan na pinopost ng PNP Regional, yung mga ate ninyo, yung mga kuya ninyo na may pangalan doon sa listahan ng mga makukuha na PO1 or yung mga patrolman o patrol woman na taga dito sa atin sa UNP. And nakaka-proud. Siguro naman meron kayong mga nakikita na pinopost ko and they are my classmates, they are my friends in college. So, ibig sabihin, sila yung mga mapalad na nakapasa sa screening ng PNP hanggang sa final interview. So they met the general qualification for appointment to police service. So kapag hindi mo naman na-meet yung general qualification, syempre hindi ka ma-appoint bilang isang police. So, kapag naman ikaw ay na-appoint na, syempre initial appointment pa lang ito. Ibig sabihin ng initial appointment, ito yung during the training pa lang yung mga ate ninyo, yung mga kapatid nyo, mga kuya ninyo, na nandun pa lang. Example, yung mga tropa ko, yung mga classmate ko, mga kaibigan ko na nandun ngayon sa La Union, doon sa Aringay, who are having their training. So they are called appointees. So kapag hindi nila na-impose yung dapat na attitude or dapat na trabaho doon ng isang magiging police, pwede silang mapauwi or pwede silang matanggal. Even na nakapag-take out na sila before sila mag-training, pwede pa rin silang matanggal because they are still not in permanent appointment. Okay? So, kapag kayo ay nakuha bilang patrolman, patrolwoman, and nandun kayo sa training center, you have to perform what is due. Do not perform what is not due. Okay? So, kung ano lang yung dapat nyong gawin, yun ang gawin niyo. Huwag kayong gagawa ng mga bagay na labag sa batas ng PNP para hindi kayo matanggal and para hindi masayang yung mga pinaghirapan ninyo. So, next is the qualification of appointments. First is the temporary appointment. Shall be issued to a newly appointed PO1 who meets the requirement minimum qualifications except the training requirement which in the PNP Field Training Program or the FTP. And second is the permanent appointment shall be issued to a PO1 or a patrolman or patrolwoman after the completion of the required PNP FTP for 12 months involving actual experience and assignment in patrol, traffic, and investigation. So, I know that you are all aware about FTP. So, FTP program or FTP, ito yung tinatawag nila na yung pagkatapos ng training nila ng 6 months doon sa loob ng training center, lalabas sila para para mag-duty or pumunta sa mga assignment nila na police stations. For example, para silang OJT na magkakaroon ng actual experience sa pagpapatrol, sa traffic, and investigation. So, kapag hindi pa nila natapos yung FTP program nila, they are still in temporary appointment. So, kapag tapos na nila yung FTP nila, pwede na silang mapunta sa permanent appointment. So, ituloy yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa. Kapag wala pa yung FTP, temporary pa lang siya. Kapag meron ng tapos ng FTP, permanent appointment na siya. So, next is the original appointments. The following are the requirements necessary for original appointment. So, first is PNP duly accomplished, updated individual police profile under oath, school credentials, Form 137 or diploma, transcript of records, physical or medical clearance, birth certificate of appointee, if not available, baptismal birth certificate or baptismal certificate, report of the PNP screening committee, neuropsychiatric test or PNP clearances from PNP, RTC, and NBI, fingerprint and handwriting specimen, passport size picture taken within 6 months prior to effectivity of appointment, police eligibility report of rating, if any, and oath of office. Next is the appointment in PNP. So, paano? Okay, so paano? Paano magkakaroon ng appointment sa PNP? So, from PO1 to SPO4 or from patrolman to police executive master sergeant appointed by the PNP Regional Director for Regional Personnel or by the Chief PNP for National Headquarters Personnel and attested by the Civil Service Commission. And next is from inspector to superintendent, or the police lieutenant to police lieutenant colonel. They will be appointed by the by the Chief PNP as recommended by their immediate supervisor as and attested by the Civil Service Commission. Next is the Senior Superintendent to Deputy Director General or the Police Colonel to Police Lieutenant General. They will be appointed by the President upon the recommendation of the Chief PNP with the endorsement of the Civil Service Commission and with confirmation by the Commission on Appointment. So, lastly, of course, ang pinakamataas, the Director General or the Police General. He will be appointed by the President of the Philippines from among the most senior officers down to the rank of Chief Superintendent in the service subject to the confirmation of the Commission on Appointments. So, from Police Colonel to Police General, they will be appointed by the President of the Philippines. So, tatandaan nyo yan na from Police Colonel to Police General, automatic na ang mag-a-appoint sa kanila is the executive or the chief executive or the president of the country. Next is the waiver for initial appointment to the PNP. The age, height, and weight and the educational requirements for initial appointment to the PNP may be waived only when the number of qualified applicants falls below the minimum annual quota. The NAPOLCOM may grant waiver of age, height, weight, or educational requirements. So, the waiver of age may be granted provided the applicant should not be less than 20 or over 35 years of age. Waiver of the height requirement may be granted to male applicant who is at least 1.57 meter and 1.52 meter for female applicants, provided that the NAPOLCOM may set a lower height requirement for applicants who belong to cultural minorities duly certified by the Office of Muslim Affairs of the appropriate government entity, provided further that the NAPOLCOM may require said applicant to submit their membership in a certain cultural minority. An applicant who is granted a weight requirement shall be given reasonable time but not exceeding 6 months within which to comply with said requirements. Waiver of educational requirements may be granted to an applicant who has finished second-year college or has earned at least 72 collegiate units leading to a bachelor's degree, provided that any person who will enter the service without a baccalaureate degree shall be given a maximum of 4 years to obtain the required educational requirement. So these are the usage of waiver when you are entering the PNP. So, hindi lang height, ang akala kasi ng iba, ang pwede lang gawan ng, or ang pwede lang gamitan ng waiver is height. Pero, pwede din yung age, pwede din yung weight, pero they are least priority. Siyempre, ang uunahin lang ng PNP ay yung talagang mga qualified. Okay? They will only be giving you a waiver if the minimum annual quota ay hindi, or I mean kung yung annual quota ay hindi nila na-meet, so kakailanganin nila ng kakailangan nila ng karagdagang applicants. So, ganyan yung nangyari sa mga kaibigan, sa mga classmates ko ngayon. Yung annual quota ng PNP ay kinulang sila lalo na sa mga girls. So, yung classmate kong apat yata sila, ora-orada silang um, pinag-report. Wala silang pangalan doon sa list ng PNP, but because kinulang sila, hindi nila na-meet yung annual quota, so they need to call the excess kasi yung tawag nila sa mga nasa waiting list. Okay? Next is the probability period and termination of service. All PNP members appointed to permanent status in entry-level grade shall undergo a mandatory 1-year probability period. During this period, the service of PNP personnel so appointed may be terminated due to unsatisfactory conduct or performance at any time. Next is the grounds for termination of services. Grade administrative offenses. So, under the grave administrative offenses are the grave misconduct, incompetence, dishonesty, disloyalty to the government, serious irregularities in the performance of duties, serious neglect of duty, and oppression. So, ito yung mga dapat nyong iwasan when you are going to enter the police service. Dapat huwag kayong maging sinungaling, dapat huwag kayong maging bastos. You have to be courteous, okay? You have to be loyal to the government kasi sila yung nagsasahod sa inyo, sila yung bumubuhay sa pamilya ninyo. Okay, let's say that you are working and you deserve to be paid or you deserve to receive your salary, but remember na nag-take out kayo, meron kayong sinumpaan sa harap ng taong bayan that you will do your best to enforce the law, to keep or maintain the peace and order in the country. Pero unluckily, meron pa rin kasi yung mga police officers na sila yung pangunahing or sila yung creator ng gulo. So, not because you are police, meron ka ng karapatang maging bastos, meron ka lang karapatang maging mayabang. And also, when you enter in the police service, iwas-iwasan nyo yung magkaroon ng mga absences. If you have emergencies, dapat kailangan mong magpaalam doon sa head ninyo. Kung wala yung head, doon sa pangalawang may pinakamataas na rangko. And also, when you are in the police service, syempre, binabayaran ka ng gobyerno, then you have to work properly, hindi yung pabanjing-banjing ka, not because natapos mo na yung training mo. Syempre, nasa permanent appointment ka na. So, it doesn't mean na kahit nasa permanent appointment ka na, hindi ka na pwedeng matanggal. Remember that you are being observed, that you are being evaluated by your superiors. Okay? So, wag kayong maging matapang when you are entering the police service or kapag nakapasok ka na sa serbisyo ng mga police. Okay? Next is the lack of aptitude in the service. This shall refer to any of the following circumstances: academic efficiency arising from failure to obtain a passing grade in the required basic training course in accordance with the established training rules and regulations.
serious violation of training rules and regulations involving non-academic matters. Possession of such habits, traits, conduct, or behavior which taken on the overall context tends to manifest and display an undesirable disposition or attitude towards the law enforcement profession. So, dito sa lack of attitude in the service, yung pagkukulang mo sa tamang education. Okay, let's say that you are a graduate of BS Criminology, a board passer, pero noong nasa training center ka na, parang nag-iba yung um, pag-iisip mo, nag-iba yung isip, hindi naman yung pag-iisip na nabaliw ka, okay, parang humina lang konti um, takbo ng yung intelligence mo, okay, ganun na lang para hindi masyadong masakit. Yung parang slightly parang naging bobo ka, parang ganun. So masakit masabihan ng bobo. So if you don't want to be called bobo, dapat gawin mo yung dapat na yung mga rules and regulations na in-establish ng PNP. Okay? And also, yung pagkakaroon ng serious violations na hindi naman involved doon sa academic ninyo. So, example, nagsi-cellphone kayo doon sa barracks ninyo, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, may mga nag-cellphone, meron mga nag-iinuman. So, that is a big question. Saan nila pinupostate yung mga iniinom nila? Saan nila pinustate yung mga cellphones nila? So, syempre, magagaling yung mga yan ay meron silang tinatawag na ninja mobs. And, syempre, sa isang organization, talagang meron kang kakilala dyan. Alangan naman na wala kang magpasipsip ka para mapakinabangan mo sila at para makapakinabangan ka rin nila. Kung mayaman ka na nagpulis, syempre, bigyan mo sila ng pera para makuha mo yung gusto mo. Pero wag na wag yung gagawin yun kasi kung ang gagamitin mo lang naman ay yung kayabangan mo, yung pera mo, wag na wag ka na lang mag-e-enter ng police because hindi nila kailangan ng mayamang aplikante. Okay? Hindi ikayo yung magpapayaman ng gobyerno. Kayo yung sinasahuran ng gobyerno. Hindi kayo yung money maker, okay? The money maker are the taxpayers, not us employees. We are here to serve the Filipino mankind and not to manipulate other people by our wealth or by our influence, our political influence, no matter what influence that we have. Next is the pagiging bastos, yung mga behaviors na hindi naaayon doon sa regulations and rules ng PNP or for example, you are a graduate of BS Criminology. Napag-aralan nyo ang human behavior, professional conduct, lahat-lahat ng klase ng pag-uugali ng magiging mabuting pulis. Pero what happened when you entered in the police service? You violated the rules. It's because you performed or you showed undesirable disposition or bad attitude towards the law enforcement profession. So, naging bastos ka, you uttered bad words, you uttered insulting words sa mga nakakatanda sa'yo, sa mga mas nakakataas sa'yo, is because you have an ego problem. Kasi kapag wala kang ego problem, walang magiging problema sa attitude mo. Okay? So, wag na wag kayong maging mapagmataas. It's because Kapag nasa police service kayo, you have to bow down your heads to your seniors. Magyabang na kayo kung seniors na kayo, okay? Pwede nyo nang utos-utosan yung mga juniors ninyo. Ganyan sa police service kapag senior mo yung um, senior mo yung kaaway mo nung high school, wala kang magagawa is because senior mo siya. Kung ano yung inutos mo siya sa'yo na gawin mo, you, you have to do it. You have to follow it. You have to follow the command of your senior. Wala kang magagawa. So, kapag binayolate mo yung command ng iyong senior or yung mas nakakataas ang rangko sa'yo, so, nagkaroon na doon ng undesirable disposition or a bad attitude towards the law enforcement profession. Next is the failure to complete the required FTP within the prescribed period of 12 months from the time he or she was issued an appointment under temporary status. So, kapag awol kasi yung tawag nila sa mga during their training, during their work, most especially sa mga sundalo, sa mga pulis, kagaya nito, during their FTP, hindi niya natapos is because hindi na niya siguro na kaya yung environment niya, hindi na siguro kaya yung trabaho, yung pressure, yung pagod. So, umuwi siya. And also, pwede naman siyang, maybe nagpaalam siya um, doon sa team leader doon sa head nila, kung sino man yung may hawak sa kanila na mga FTP. So, kailangan na niyang ma-relieve from the service is because one of the requirement to be in the permanent appointment again is to complete the 12 months FTP. So, kapag hindi mo yun natapos, syempre, kailangan mo matanggal doon sa serbisyo. Next is failure to attain or satisfy the weight requirement within 6 months from the appointment if admitted due to waiver. So, kapag hindi mo na-attain yung weight na binigay sa'yo or yung weight na dapat mong i-attain within 6 months kapag ikaw ay nabigyan ng weight waiver. Bigyan ka ng weight waiver pero hindi mo na-meet yung dapat na i-meet mo na weight during within that 6 months. So, wala kang magagawa. Sorry na lang kasi kailangan mo nang umalis. Because 6 months, I guess, masyado na yang mahaba. For me, I can be slim within 2 months or 3 months. Mapayat na ako. Siguro sexy na ako na. Pero doon sa 6 months, parang too much na din yun eh. Parang too much na din yan. So, anong ginawa mo nung 6 months? Kumain ka, natulog ka lang. So, you took for granted the waiver that have given to you. So, sorry na lang, but you have to leave the police service. Next is the termination authorities, the PNP Director General, the PNP Regional Directors, including the NCR Director, are designated termination authorities for all members of the PNP undergoing probability period, except that officer members shall be terminated only by the Director General. So, next is the lateral entry. So, ang lateral entry, ito yung naririnig natin or yung tinatawag natin na mag-i-start ka sa rangko na inspector or lieutenant to senior inspector. So, pursuant to Section 30 and 33 of Republic Act 6975 and in reference to NAPOLCOM Circular Number 92-015 dated number 26 November 26, 1992, hereby promulgated are the rules and regulations standing operating procedures in the processing of applicant for lateral entry. Persons qualified to apply for lateral entry in the PNP Technical and Operation Support Units. So you must be a citizen of the Philippines, a person of good moral conduct, and of sound in mind and body, must possess a formal baccalaureate degree, must be eligible in accordance with the standards set by CSC, must not have been dishonorably discharged from military employment or dismissed for cause from any civilian position in the government, must not have been convicted by final judgment of an offense of crime involving moral turpitude, must be at least 1 meter and 62 meters or 1.62 meters in height for male and 1.57 meter for female. For a new applicant must not be less than 21 nor more than 30 years of age. And he must weigh not more than or less than 5 kilograms from the standard weight corresponding to his or her age and sex. So, yung qualification for lateral entry ay kagaya din ng qualification ng qualification ng mga mag-a-apply ng patrolman or patrol women. So, here are the waivers for initial appointment. The age, height, and weight requirements for initial appointment to the PNP via lateral entry may be waived only when the number of qualified applicants fall below the minimum annual quota and provided that an applicant shall not be below 20 years nor over 30 years of age. So kapag mag-a-apply ka for lateral entry, dapat hindi ka below 20 years old or over 35 years old. Kasi kapag nag-exceed yung age na yon for lateral entry, hindi ka na makakapag-apply. It's because yung waiver na ibibigay sa'yo ay, again, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, bibigyan ka lang ng waiver for age, height, and weight when the minimum annual quota fell down. Okay? Or I mean, nagkulang yung mga applicants, so they need to hire or they need more applicants to meet the annual quota of the PNP via lateral entry. So madaming nag-a-aspire na maka-enter via lateral entry. It's because syempre kapag nakapasa ka sa lateral entry, kapag natanggap ka, ang rangko mo agad is inspector or lieutenant ka na agad. Okay? So, 'di ba? Ambong ka. Official ka na agad. So, dito pagalingan lang dito. So, wag kayong ambisyong mag-lateral entry kapag hindi kayo ready. Kung hindi ready ang katawan at yung pag-iisip ninyo para hindi masayang yung effort ninyo. Next is the appointment of officers into the PNP via lateral entry in general or entrance appointment to the officers ranks in the PNP shall commence with the rank of inspector, including those with highly technical qualification applying for the PNP technical services such as dentists, nurses, engineers, optometrists, and graduates of forensic sciences. Doctors of medicine, members of the bar, and chaplains shall be appointed to the rank of senior inspector in their particular technical services. Graduates of the PNPA shall be automatically appointed for initial rank of inspector. Licensed criminologists may be appointed to the rank of inspector to fill up any vacancy. So, kapag ikaw ay So again, kapag ikaw ay natanggap or kapag ikaw ay naging appointee na ng PNP bilateral entry, so ang magiging rangko mo ay inspector or police lieutenant kasama na yung mga um, kasama na din yung mga skilled professionals gaya ng um, mga dentists, mga nurses, engineers, yung mga optometrist yung tawag natin sa mga doktor ng mata, at yung mga graduate ng forensic science. Forensic science kasi ngayon ay part ng program ng um, College of Criminal Justice Education. So, forensic science, you can enroll it in the University of Baguio. Okay. So, kapag nakuha ka, again, magiging inspector ka or magiging police lieutenant ka. Pero kapag naman ikaw ay graduate or a board passer of Doctor of Medicine, ikaw ay member of the bar, ikaw ay isang pari o isang pastor, tapos nakuha ka sa PNP bilateral entry, so ang magiging ranko mo ay senior inspector or police captain. So kapag naman ikaw ay graduate ng PNPA, so automatically maa-appoint ka sa rangko ng inspector or police lieutenant kung PNP ang pipiliin mo na trabaho kasi hindi porket nag-aral ka doon sa PNPA, it doesn't mean na magiging police ka pagkatapos kang graduate yun. You can also join the military force, the BFP, the BGMP, yun, hindi lang magiging police ang pwede mong konin doon sa PNPA. Also, sa ating mga licensed criminologists, isa akong licensed criminologist, pwede akong ma-appoint bilang isang inspector or police lieutenant kapag ako ay nag-commenter ng or nag-join ako ng PNP na ako ay board passer. So for example, when I applied to PNP, I was then a board passer. I was a licensed criminologist. So let's say I am PO I am PO2 now, or I am a patrol no I am police officer 2 or corporal, and then nag-open sila ng vacancy for bilateral entry, so I can be an applicant, or kapag pinalad, pwede akong mag-jump ng from PO2 to or police corporal to police lieutenant kapag pinalad ako sa lateral entry. So, that is the reward of being a licensed criminologist when you enter the police service. Kaya kayo, kapag naging licensed criminologist na kayo, take the opportunity when there is an opportunity na mag, mag-apply kayo sa lateral entry.